I want to thank Min Song for inviting me today, and thank you to the English department and any of you other Antonies. Oh, and thank you to the bookstore for being here. I really appreciate that. Please buy books from them. I'll really feel badly if she sells nothing. I mean, I'll feel badly because she'll be sitting there for nothing, and it's horrible. But I'm really thankful that you came out with my books. It's a pleasure to be here in Boston. It's a pleasure to be in New England, and I've started my tour. I started in Hartford, and yesterday, where was I? I was at stores in Yukon, University of Connecticut, and then tomorrow I go to Brown, and then I go back to Dartmouth, and I come back to Tufts. I'm doing this stuff here, and this is a side of the world that I don't know a lot about, but I'm really pleased to be here. I went to school in Minnesota, so the snow for me is nostalgic. But I realize I'm not used to it. I got all these layers of clothing on it. I don't know. Okay, so today what I'm going to do. Good. No. All right, let's go back. No. Wait. Let's go back. All right. I'm supposed to stand up here, huh? Okay. All right. So I'm going to present a preview of this new novel of mine, The I Hotel. And it was published last year in May by Coffee House Press. And the book is set in the San Francisco Bay Area and the East Bay Area. So that's Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco during the 1960s and 1970s. It's a work of fiction. And it's based on the history of the Asian American movement. So how many of you know San Francisco? A little bit? All right. Okay, good. Okay, so we're not. The Asian American Studies is now an established institution with a 40-plus year history. And ethnic studies is now a part of our academic landscape. So we have Asian American studies, we have Chicano and Latin American studies, Native American studies, and African American studies. And it is taught across the nation and the world. And I don't know when it got here to Boston College, but if Min Song has been here, he tells me for 12 years, it's been here a while. So. Now, a lot of folks have passed this way. I don't know if you can see this, but these are people who founded the Asian American Studies in the day. Oh, that's probably better, right? Okay. And they have retired, and these are some folks who have actually died in the last few years. And I hope that my work honors their work. I guess those of you who know Asian American Studies will know who these are. These are professors and activists and historians. This is Chris Ijima, that's Mako. That's Amy Ling there, right? And El Robles. Before 1968, however, in the United States, there was no such thing, or minimally such a thing, as courses in the study of ethnic immigrants or indigenous communities, or the consequences and history of slavery, civil rights, and race in the United States. And the reason why any of this exists today was back then, students and faculty organized and protested, held meetings, boycotts, and strikes, enacted direct nonviolent action protests with police and authorities, and many went to jail. In 1968 and 1969, two San Francisco Bay Area universities, San Francisco State College and the University of California at Berkeley, were the sites of protest of students for a third world college. And this was a protest for ethnic studies, to hire faculty of color, to eliminate barriers of class and race, and to give access to higher education to Black, Chicano, Native American, and Asian American students. Now, students and faculty went on strike, and they were not just students of color, they were all students. because our populations in universities and colleges at that time were minuscule. And for a period of time, these students literally shut these institutions down. Now, these were the years of the Vietnam War, civil rights movements for black power, feminism, and gay rights. And it was a period of great turmoil and revolt. But it was also in the air of an enormous sense of exuberance about change and revolution. And I would say that maybe something similar to sort of think about this would be the events happening very recently in Egypt. So students came out, they were the catalysts for change at this time, and they are now the catalysts for change in Egypt, and the labor movements and the middle class and people came out to join them. So this is a similar kind of period. Now, students who were radicalized by their participation in education took not only to the streets, but they went back to the streets of their neighborhoods and to their home communities to serve the people. And they founded many of the institutions that today we now take for granted. And I'd like to say something in particular about ethnic studies and recent legal rulings in Arizona regarding immigrant profiling and the abolishment of ethnic studies. Ethnic studies is under attack all over the country because of our economic crisis and the loss of funding to public education. But it may be one of the most important pieces of our public education to keep and support, because it empowers students to an intellectual vision of their histories. It gives students positive role models and directs us to the necessary work of our communities. It also gives us structures of thinking that are necessary to succeed in making social change. And I think that the alternatives are bleak. We are in a college, and so you are in a place of privilege, but you may go back as teachers to the inner city to teach, and there, you know, you're going to find gang violence in schools, drug addiction, incarceration, and something that I'm calling illiterate or semi-literate fundamentalism. So I implore you that as these initiatives come this way and to your institution, to think about how far we've come and the sacrifices that have been made, but also to think about how much has not changed for impoverished communities. Ethnic studies is not a static study of raced people. It is a continuing study under many names. It might be American studies, community studies, race theory and social justice, and it is always with and referring back to the civil rights movement with its eyes on the prize. And that prize is, I believe, tolerance, social justice, care, service, and community. So some 40 years ago, students who were many of them Asian American students, and in particular, I'm going to talk about Filipino American students who came home to the I Hotel or the International Hotel in San Francisco. And this is what the hotel once looked like. The name of this book is The I Hotel. It's named after the International Hotel in San Francisco. This was built at the turn of the century, 1900. And by 1970, it was this old hotel that the city wanted to tear down. It was on Kearny and Jackson Street, if you know San Francisco, and that's an area between North Beach, which is famous for, you know, the Beats and the Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg and those folks, and Chinatown on the other side. And it was previously known, this street, Kearny Street, was known as Manila Town or Filipino Town. It was home to an old Filipino American community. In the 1960s, the tenants of the I Hotel were mostly old men. They were Filipino and Chinese retired bachelors who had come to the United States in the 1920s and 1930s, and they worked as migrant workers up and down the West Coast. They harvested fruits and vegetables, they worked the docks and canneries, they were merchant mariners and veterans of war, they were cooks and laundrymen. And laws of restrictive immigration and miscegenation and wars had really prevented these men from having married lives and families. And so the I Hotel was where they came to live out their old lives. So for 10 years, from 1968 to 1977, the tenants of the hotel, community members, and student activists struggled to prevent the eviction of the hotel tenants. And the idea was that the city wanted to, or at least the owners wanted to tear down this hotel to build a parking lot. And this was part of this master plan for San Francisco to turn this area, and particularly the street, into a West Coast Wall Street. So in 10 years, they were hatched a series of schemes and plans to save the hotel. And among them was the idea that the city of San Francisco could claim eminent domain and buy the hotel as public property and then sell it back to the tenants to operate themselves as a kind of co-op. And in the day, this was called the buyback plan. But finally, on the night of August the 3rd, 1977, the struggle came to an end. So I'm going to pause to say something about the structure of this book. It's a big book, but it's a fast read, I think. Isn't it? Come on. See, I said so. It's written. It's a novel written in 10 novellas, so there are 10 books in this. And I urge you, and I'm the writer, so I can tell you this: you can read any one of the 10 books, fine with me, and you don't have to read the rest. I mean, unless you're in men's class, you probably have to read the whole thing. And I'm calling each of these novellas, each of these 10 novellas, a hotel. So in this case, I'm going to read to you from the Migrant Hotel, or the Immigrant Hotel. And the narrator of this hotel is Felix Alos. He's a bachelor Manong living in the hotel. And in his lifetime, he has taken on many roles. He's been a laborer and a union activist. He's also been principally, though, a cook and a chef. And as a cook, it's also Felix's idea that cooking helps you to work out your problems. So let me find where this starts. Okay. Oh, and I'm also going to impersonate a Manong. And so, those of you, are there any Filipinos here? Oh, sorry. Okay, you want to read this? No. Okay. I am reading the book America is in the Heart by Carlos Bulasan. My friend Wen gives it to me to read. You haven't read this book? He can't believe it. If anybody knows books, got to be Wen. Li Po Poet type, teaching at SF State, says Bulasan double features with Grapes of Wrath. For triple feature, try Native Son. Well, I say, Carlos is my friend, but maybe you never get around to reading your friend's book. What are friends for? Give you the digested version to make life easy? But you read Carlos's life and you think, your life is bad. Comes nothing close. Every page, Carlos is suffering, starving, broken by work, beat up, pounded, stabbed, near dying, escaping, getting TB, cheated, losing his country, his friends, his family, his innocence, nearly naked, losing his dream. Okay, nothing we Pinoys don't know, but maybe our hell all rolled into one heart. Macario and Abre in the kitchen. Got the pot of rice steaming on low, then chopping the onions, peeling the garlic, measuring the soy sauce and the vinegar, dumping in the chicken parts. Final touches, bay leaf and paprika. I sniff the air above the pot and nod. Okay. I found my dish, Macario says. I point to my head and nod, then ask, what you working out? Politics. Nothing new. By now, Macario's dishing out the rice. Support groups are accusing us of being sellouts. I'm imbibing the sweet aroma of rice, but I say, what support group? I think, must be 300 support groups out there. Friends of the iHotel, Workers Submit Committee to support the iHotel, Committee to struggle with the iHotel, Ping Yuan Tenants Committee, Chinese Affirmative Action, iHotel Committee, U.S. Postal Workers, iHotel Support Committee, People's Church, iHotel Support Committee, Low Cost Housing Tenants Association, iHotel Business Tenants Support Committee, Garment Workers, iHotel Support Committee, Poets for the iHotel. You know the ones, says Abra, the Maoist ones. Oh, you aren't Maoist? Yeah, well, I ask, how come sellouts? Abra takes my plate and gives me a good ladle of adobo. For working with the system and trying to get the city to use eminent domain to buy us out, who else got the money? They come to meetings and say that we got to liberate the hotel from the system. Easy to say. I shrug and dig in. What's screwing us up is this buyback plan. We can never buy back the hotel from the city after it takes it away from Enchanted Seas, not even for half of what they pay them off. It's never going to be realistic. I close my eyes, savor the flavors. Hey, I say, this is not bad. Thanks, Felix. Everybody gets quiet eating, nothing but the sound of eating. Forks pushing around the food or rearranging the chicken and the sauce on the rice, scooping it up into satisfied mouths. Finally, I say, eminent domain, buyback, realistically, it can never happen. Something gets proposed, goes to court, court agrees, knocks it down, you get appeal, goes back to the city, win, lose, buying time, not buyback, just buying time. You mean we're just using stalling tactics? You never know. We could win. What kind of line is stalling tactics? Line? It's like this, Felix. A line is, Macario is looking for words. I cut in. You think I don't know what you're doing? I don't know what your line is? How's your party line going to help me? You get a party. What do I get? Abra and Macario poking around the bones on their plates. Felix is right, Abra says. Every group is using the hotel to test their line. I know the problem. How many old tenants we got left? Used to be 50, now maybe 30. Every support group attached to one or two tenants, hauling them around from rally to rally like the real thing. I don't say nothing because what's an old guy got besides this kind of family, this kind of attention? What does he know about party lines? But he is not stupid. Didn't survive all these years without learning something. Besides, Macario says, what about our own party? Abra, it's just you and me in the hotel. Central Committee has pretty much said, you're on your own. Abra mutters, abandoned. Kids look tired. When do they sleep? Every day running around trying to hold off the eviction. Meetings every night, strategy sessions, going to court, protesting every place, City Hall, redevelopment, KMT headquarters, harassing lawyers, signing petitions, posting flyers, making speeches, speech at Glide Memorial, speech at College Rally, speech at Garment Workers Union, meeting with supervisors, meeting with the mayor, meeting with human rights, meeting with HUD, arguing with every support group, setting up the phone tree, sending spies out to keep tabs on the police, doing surveillance, make sure no one tries to burn the building down again, then maybe taking Frankie to emergency, got an asthma attack, getting Wahat some heart medicine, getting Benny his Social Security papers, going over to the police station to pick up Lee, who gets drunk and sleeps in the street again. I think I know the situation. In the context of the larger struggle, they call it bigger battles to fight, save those nurses from jail, address the oppression of the Filipino professional class, oppose the Marcos dictatorship, rally the exiled for democracy. What's the I Hotel? Just 30 old men. Abra looks at my empty plate. Want seconds? I hand her my plate. This reminds me of adobo I eat in the war. Is that good or bad? The best. My beautiful Pinay saves my life with this same adobo, just a sauce and a little rice. I demonstrate, spoon at a time. Did you tell Abra that story? Asked Macario, about how you survived Batan? I escaped to the mountains, joined Luis Taruk and the Hukbalahap. Abra looked shocked. You fought with Taruk and the Hooks? What's so surprising? You never told me you fought with the communists. What have you been hiding from me? Guerrilla force, just like Mao fighting the Japanese. I shrug at Abra and Macario. That's the lesson. What? United front, Philippine scouts, Philippine guerrillas, Hooks, Chinese Americans, U.S. armed forces could be nationalists, could be socialists, could be communists, could be imperialists. We drive out the fascists together. Macario's looking like the adobo's doing the trick. He's clearing the table, washing the dishes. Later, I'm hearing him at a meeting. He's calling for a united front. The support groups ratify a united front agreement. Agreed. I Hotel struggle represents the needs of a working class minority over private property. Agreed. Public officials must be held liable for human needs over capitalist needs. Agreed. Actions against eviction must be nonviolent to protect elderly tenants. Abra splitting a bottle of beer with me. Why didn't you tell me you fought with the Hooks? Not much to tell. I get rescued by them, run away into the mountains. Hey, I look at Abra. You got me to remember Guerrero woman, just like you. What about the beautiful Pinay? I'm too late. That's all I can say. What is there to say? I'm holding her in my arms. Her blood doesn't stop. Her heart stops. It's Wednesday night, August 3, 1977. Abra and I are looking out my window. How many down there, you figure? Back in January for the protest, the newspaper said 5,000. Looks the same. Every second I see more people coming into the street, both sides. Who's not down there, I say. Even gay rights. You bringing gay rights. Actually, says Abra, that was Wahat. He went to the exotic erotic ball in his Igorot loincloth. I guess he makes a big impression. He also brought in the Indians. Looks like the whole city is coming to save the hotel. I hope so. The chanting never stops. It's coming out of loudspeakers everywhere. The whole place is wired for sound. The people, united, can never be defeated. The people, united, can never be defeated. Stop the eviction, we won't move. Stop the eviction, we won't move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. I'm feeling the excitement. They're telephoning and radioing the whole city. People pouring into Manila town. Put their bodies up against the I Hotel. Still, we got to anticipate the whole night. And maybe how many days? I get prepared with supplies for 3 days. It's August. So I got a deal in Chinatown. Boxes of summer cantaloupe shipped out of the Imperial Valley. Abra and me sitting in my room slicing the melon with the sweet orange meat. You sure they're coming? We got word they are organizing their posse, riot gear, and billy club units, cavalry too. Coming with horses, yeah. Finally we hear the sirens. Sirens coming from every side of the city, getting louder every minute. The fire is going to be here. On the street, 13 rows of human bodies linked around the hotel. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't. We. From above, we can see the police on horseback, swinging clubs like machetes. Dark horse bodies press into the people, press and lunge. We hear the crowd groan and resist. Every cry travels up to us. Abra shuts her eyes. Keep calm. Keep calm. Then screaming, yelling, "What are you doing? We're not armed. Help this woman. Help her up. Stay calm. Don't resist the police. We are nonviolent. Remember, we are nonviolent. Hold your places. Stand firm. We need a doctor here. Get this person some help. He's bleeding." Outside my door, I know the corridor is filled with the second contingent. Wet towels tucked under the door to stop the tear gas. My mattress is outside, blocking the landing. Folks packed in like sitting sardines, arms locked and waiting. Police has got to drag them out one by one. Then finally, there's us, the last 30 tenants, each one sitting in our rooms waiting. That's the plan. What am I thinking? That they never get this far, that this time, like the other times, they give up and go away, drive their cars with lights and guns and clubs away, trot their horses back to Golden Gate Park, go home to their families and children, go home to TV and dinner. Let me stay here and live the few more years I got to live. How can so many people fail? Now I hear the sirens have stopped right in front of the I Hotel, right in front of my room. I say to Abra, "They're going to shoot us with water." Next moment, I see the fire ladder extend, lands at the second floor corridor window. That's their plan. Toughest guys, Samoans included, resisting at the front door, look up. They're bypassed by a ladder. Firemen and police scale it like it's a siege. Coming up to our floor in heavy boots, protective gear, goggles with clubs and axes, looking like monsters. We hear the commotion outside, smashing glass. Hatchets going through doors, breaking locks. All right, everyone out, get up, get going, time's up. Bodies dragged away, bounced downstairs, Abra sitting on my bed, and for the first time, I see her crying. "I'm sorry, Felix, I failed you." "What you talking?" I touch her hand folded tight in her lap. "You cannot fail. You can only live your life. You gonna see when you're my age." They're at my door, knocking even. I say like I'm stupid, "Who is it?" "Sheriff's Department, it's time to leave." "Leave?" "Yes, that's right, open up right now." Abra wipes her eyes and pulls open the door. Her body is back to being fierce. She says, "You keep your hands off this gentleman. We will leave quietly, but keep your hands off." She pulls me up from the bed, holds onto my arm. We walk out together. I don't tell Abra the rest about not failing. It's going to be about remembering. I remember my union brothers. Same year Larry Itleong dies, and Philip Veracruz, he quits the United Farm Workers. I figured it out later when I see a picture of Cesar Chavez, honored guest of the Philippine nation, on an elephant with Marcos. We get betrayed by saints and gods. Before that, maybe I could return to Agbayani. Now, I cannot. We walk slowly down the old corridor, mattresses and waste and broken pieces of the hotel everywhere. We go by Frankie's room, and I stop to look in. I see Frankie's 2 suitcases torn open, the letters and postcards thrown up and scattered everywhere. Love letters flying out the broken window. I'm getting confused. Something inside my gut is grabbing me. I hold on to Abra now. I think I see Pio's ghost back in the hotel again. He's walking out slowly right there in front of me. Maybe he's got his banjo. I think we sent Pio away for good, but now I see even ghosts getting evicted. By the time we leave the hotel, maybe it's dawn. Foggy light competing with the neon. My gut is killing me. Abra whispers, Felix, Felix. I don't tell Abra that maybe in the end you can't remember nothing and nobody else remembers nothing. But goddamn, we never give up. All we ever do is survive. I see through my bloody snot the last of my brothers walking away down dirty streets, trash spinning with love letters, looking up at the old hotel and looking away for the last time. Frankie still in his pinstripe Macintosh, walking away with Pio, maybe hang out over at Portsmouth, then moving on, circumnavigating. And that's the end, like Pio's ashes. Ghosts, only I never think. It can hurt like this.